Welcome back, everyone, to another incredible episode of Chat with Dan. Now, before we start, I just want to thank you so much for taking the time to checking this out. Don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, follow, it helps a lot, and again, thank you. Have an incredible day or evening, depending where you are, and I'll see you in the next one. Stay safe. Welcome back, everyone, to another incredible episode of Chat with Dan. For today, we have on the show the incredible, amazing, badass superstar, Briar. Briar, how are you today?
I'm good. Thank you very much. That's a lovely intro right there.
Absolutely. I mean, what better way to have an epic Wednesday than to be chatting with someone as badass as you? You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, I
I'm
mean,
the
what else
most
do we need?
badass.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, for those who don't know who is the incredible, amazing, badass, super awesome Briar, please tell us who you are.
Well, as you said, my name is Briar. I'm an artist based in Ottawa and Toronto, Canada. I recently came over from London, where I was living there for about like 5 years or so after I went to school there. And I'm an actress. I'm a bit of a writer. I'm a producer now. I do a lot of theater production and kind of like an all rounder. I do a bit of everything
There you
from
go.
website design to theater to film to whatever will have me.
There you go. There you
Yeah.
go. That's badass.
Yeah.
Going up. We're going up here. That's incredible. Now before we start, I do want to thank those who are watching this. Thank you so much. If this is your first one, make sure to leave a like, subscribe, follow. It helps a lot. If this is your fourth one, fifth one, keep watching them. It means a lot too. And also if it is your birthday, happy birthday. If not, keep having an amazing day or evening, depending where you are. And now jumping to the interview, let's go back in time and tell me where this passion started.
Well, I guess I grew up in a kind of artistic family. My mom was a fine artist, so she does soft pastel and oil paintings. So arts were always kind of on the peripheral, right?
Mm,
And I did the ballet when I was 3 and all that kind of stuff. And then I did piano. And my piano teacher was involved with a community theater group called the Lakeside Players, which is based in Ottawa. And she thought I was quite rambunctious and
okay.
a bit silly,
Yeah.
and I was one of those kids who just loved to play pretend, and I didn't really want to talk about boys and lip gloss. I wanted to go play horses out in the field and be secret agents and do things like that, right? So she sort of suggested my energy might be better placed on stage. So I started doing community theater. I did pantomimes for 7 years with the Lakeside Players in community theater and kind of worked my way up from chorus to bigger roles and bigger roles. And then I started doing in high school, and eventually it got to a point where I didn't want to be a fine artist anymore. I mean, I did a little bit. I've always really loved anime, manga, any sort of art that has a story involved,
Mm-hmm,
that
mm-hmm.
kind of a thing. And for a while,
Yeah.
I wanted to be a writer, but the acting just kind of got into my soul and my blood, and I just loved it, and I still love it. So that's what I decided to do with my life.
Incredible. That's
Rock on,
amazing.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And tell me, what were some of the challenges that you had when you were deciding, like, okay, this is gonna be a career now? What were some of
Mhm.
those, let's say, missteps or moments in which you were like, oh, I didn't know that back when you were recently started?
Yeah. Well, there are many, and I'm pretty sure any actor or actress in this industry will tell you so. Like,
Yeah.
I think we all do things that we kind of went, well, I wish I'd done something differently, but you end up where you're supposed to end up, and it really is. You have to kind of commit to it and really give it your all. So for me, part of the challenges for me was I got started quote unquote late.
Mm,
Um, professionally in the industry, so
yeah.
a lot of agents really look for the kids who got started when they were 3 or 4 doing commercials with their parents, right? To do that, you kind of have to be in a big city center, and I grew up in what used to be a small town outside of Ottawa. And really, Ottawa doesn't have, we do have a theater scene, but it's not as robust as Toronto, and it's definitely not at the level of somewhere like New York or London or something like that.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
I think at the time there were 2 agents in Ottawa. Uh, sort of 3, but 2 good ones,
Mm,
and, they were small boutique agencies, which means a smaller agency, and, uh, it was just, mostly musical theater and very safe productions that people in their 60s like to go see on a Thursday night, you know?
mm,
And, there wasn't really anywhere for me to go. So that was a struggle, and because I did community theater and I did pantomimes, I encountered quite a lot of snobbery when I went out for university and things like that, and I wasn't taken seriously, and because of that, or partially because of that and other circumstances, for whatever reason,
yeah,
I didn't get into any schools when I auditioned out of university. So, but I stuck with it and I eventually got into a program and I did that. So those were some of the challenges and it
yeah,
goes on from there, right? But
yeah,
I
yeah. I
think
can.
it's made me a better actor
Yeah, absolutely,
personally. Yeah.
and also it kind of help you to start creating like a tough skin.
Yeah,
You know,
resilience for sure.
resilience.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, because
Mhm.
I do hate that. Yeah, I do hate a lot that whenever you're new on something, you don't know what to do. You want to like to see what the fuss is about, and then because someone who has more experience decide to treat you or tell you that you shouldn't do it or you're not worthy of doing it. Like those type of comments. Whenever like I hear, I would tend to say like, yeah, but who are you to tell that? You are not.
Mm.
Perhaps, yeah, you are more professional, let's say, sure. You have like more recognition, awards, sure. But that doesn't mean anything. At the end of the day, someone new who wants to try something, why not give him a hand and be like, okay, this person wants to try it. Let's see what they have and let's try to help
Mhm.
them. And if by helping them, perhaps it's not working, okay, let's find a solution to it instead of being like, nope, you're trash, get out, things like that.
Well, I mean, no one ever says you're trash, get out. At least I've never had that said to my
Oh, I
face
did.
before.
Oh, I
"Oh,
did.
have you? That's awful. I'm so sorry.
No, it's
That's
fun.
not that's not cool."
No, it's not, but
But
it's part of the whole thing.
what I've gotten is you look quite young,
Mm,
which is both a benefit and a curse, when you're like me, and I'm an adult woman, but I can still pass for on stage, I can still pass for a teenager, and on film, I can still pass for early 20s. So, I'm told, "You're in the most competitive age range.
mm,
Everybody who's doing acting looks like you, and you don't have very much experience,"
yeah.
was what I was told when I was starting out. So, even if they think you have a lot of talent, and you might have a lot of talent, and you might work super hard, you have to be ready that some agents won't wanna take that risk with you.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I
Yeah.
mean, the reason why I got called Trash Get Out is because for a play back in high school, I didn't ruin, but I made better, the play from someone, and
Yeah.
I needed the extra credit, so I went into this play, didn't know what I was doing, and I only had
Mhm.
one scene. That was it. One scene, just lift
Yeah.
your arms, and that's it. And I decided to do something else. And because they gave me this huge rope, I even fell. It was super fun. And at the end of it, the director of the play was super angry about what I did. And he said that. He said, "Get out." Like once we finished, he was like, "You're trash, get out." And I was like, "Okay, sure."
Aw, man, high school
Yeah,
in high school is when you're just primed to just feel a little bit self-conscious about yourself, you know?
yeah.
I'm sorry.
You know, it was good because actually people liked it, what I did, because I gave like
Okay.
it was a very dramatic scene, and I ended up turning it into a
Mhm.
comedy one. So people liked it, and even though when the play was done, people was still clapping and laughing. And then, at so when that finished, he came to me and he was like, "What? Like what the hell you did? You ruined my play!" And people was cheering up, and I was like, "Do you hear that? That's a sign of success. So you're welcome." And that's when he said, "You're trash. Get out." So,
Okay.
but
Well,
it was
all
good.
these experiences, they build us up to who we're gonna be later,
Absolutely.
right? Yeah.
Absolutely. But anyway,
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
now focusing a little bit of your acting career, tell me how you prepare a character. Now, of course, that I understand that it depends on the role, But
Mhm.
what is your usual approach before diving in into this process?
By process, do you mean like the
Like the
actual
whole
filming or
like the whole
rehearsal or
like the whole character creation, like how you prepare this
okay.
character. Would you, I don't know, read the script, or like what is your thing?
Well, yeah, usually I always start with the script. Always. For me, I'm pretty literary based.
Mhm.
So I like to read the script first. I always make sure to really focus on that and give myself some time where I'm not going to
Yeah.
be interrupted. So I'll read that first, then I'll go through and I'll, highlight the lines. And sometimes I'll underline what I'm doing if there's
Mhm.
an action,
Mhm.
whatever it is. And what I like to do is I like to look at the lines that aren't mine, and I like to underline the main point of those lines from other people, and then I like to figure out what I'm responding to. So that's sort of when I have a self tape or a TV script. That's kind of where I start, because I like to make it responsive based
Mm.
rather than directed as much as possible because I very much believe that scenes are created through conversations and
Yeah.
conversations come out of listening and responding. So I try to make that the basis for the beginning of my character. And then after that, then I look at things like structure, like what's the scene trying to achieve, and that's very important in TV and film. And once I have all those things down, the lines actually I don't have to really memorize them very much because I already know why I'm saying the line. I
Mhm.
already have that feeling. Um, and then I can just focus on like, well, where does this character's voice sit? Where is their energy? Is it in their head, in their heart, in their belly? Because everybody has a different vibe that
Yeah.
comes from somewhere in their body, right? Um, like people who are super cerebral walk around and they're just like, like Mark Zuckerberg, for example, I would say is very head based,
Yeah.
right? Very cerebral. So, yeah, that's sort of what I do. And for theater, it's a little different. It's again with the script, and sometimes I'll action like the whole Stanislavski action thing.
Mhm.
Um, but for theater, it's a little different because it's very for me. I don't like to make any hard decisions in theater until I'm in rehearsal
Okay.
and I see kind of how the dynamics are gonna work out. And I think that's important in film and TV too, but it's a much less in-depth process because
Yeah.
often you have to make decisions on the spot, um, and kinda go with them.
Yeah,
So
totally,
that's
totally.
sort of my process. It's very, like, kinda basic and everything, but it it really depends on the character and the form that you're
Yeah, and
taking.
also, what I love about, for example, with some of the actors that I've interviewed, is the
Mhm.
is the fact that everyone has their own thing. That there is no precise manual of how to create a character. That everyone has like their own thing. Throughout experience, they start to develop new techniques here and there, and that's pretty cool because it also shows you that if you want to start acting out, there's no actual manual that you need to follow. You can grab pieces from him, from her, things like that, and just
Mhm.
try creating your own way to create. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, you sort of pick and choose and yeah, I think for me I think this is pretty much for everyone. It's a layering of
Yeah,
different things and adding and eventually you get there and it clicks. But,
there you go.
you know, yeah, it's a
Yeah,
process. Mhm.
yeah,
Uh,
you're
yeah,
you're killing it here. You
I'm
went to
killing
the
it.
to,
Yeah.
to, to the next level of badassness here. I love it. I love it.
Thank
N-
you.
Now, has it ever happened to you that during this character creation process you got
Mhm.
stuck? Now, if that happened to you, how you managed to overcome the situation and to continue moving forward?
Oh yeah, I get stuck all the time. And weirdly, I get stuck personally with the characters that are most similar to me.
Mm,
The
okay.
further away somebody is from myself, the easier or not the easier, but I have to push myself to be braver and do things that are maybe scary,
Mhm.
and it's easier somehow. When a character's closer to me, that can be quite a frustrating experience.
Mhm.
And you can try different things, like, sometimes I try drawing as the characters, sometimes I try improvising as the
Yeah.
character, or I try different voices, whatever, what have you, right? Um, Sometimes the character isn't right for you. I think that's an okay thing to say,
Mm.
especially if you're auditioning for it. If you already have the part, then obviously they're seeing something about your performance that isn't quite clicking with you. But if it's working for the production and for everyone in the team, your co-stars and your director and your producer and whatever, what have you, then obviously something is right, and you have to trust that what you're doing is the right thing.
Mm.
And I think it's okay to feel that tension. And I think actors need to realize it's okay to feel like you're not doing a great job, because that's not really what it's like. It's okay to fail,
Mhm.
right? And it's okay to feel like, oh, that didn't feel completely 100% in it, or whatever you want to say it is. Um, it's okay to be in process the entire time.
Yeah.
That's okay,
Yeah.
and I think that's honest. It's you don't always click and get right in there every time.
Yeah,
Hopefully,
true.
you will reach that, but
Yeah.
you might not, and that's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do think that the more you understand that during that part of the process, it's okay for you to feel like that, the easy for
Mhm.
you to overcome that and to continue moving.
Yeah, right. I mean, for me personally, I
Mm.
really struggle for some reason. I have some weird vocal thing with Shakespeare.
Mm.
And, um, I don't know what it is, but I start doing Shakespeare and my throat just kinda tightens up like a vice, and I can't get past it, and I get all emotionally stunted, and it's very frustrating. And, I recently realized with a coach I was working with, because I knew this was a problem for me, but I love Shakespeare, right? I love the characters. I really wanna be in Shakespeare at some point, like, in a professional. I'd love to do Stratford or something
Mhm.
like that, right? And, I realized for me to get over that tension, and this is every time I do Shakespeare, I have to cry.
Mm.
I have to I have to
Okay.
sob through every line. I have to just sob it out, tears down my cheeks, make sure no one's in the house, and just go for it. And then once that process is done, it's it's smooth sailing.
Mm.
But I have to do that first. So, I mean, sometimes there is just that one thing you have to do, and it works,
There you go.
but not for everyone and not
Yeah.
for every role, so, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, as we were saying, that that every process is different from everyone, from everybody. You
Mhm.
along the way you will discover your thing, and perhaps you might get stuck at some point, but that's just part of the whole
Yeah.
experience that we share. I mean, I do think that the more you accept it, it's fine, and you can
Yeah.
keep moving forward. Otherwise, once you realize it's been already 4 or 5 hours and you're still on the same thing like a hamster.
Yeah, yeah.
You know?
Let yourself do what you need to do,
There
right?
you go. I
Yeah.
love it. I love it. Now tell me, what has been some of the funniest auditions you ever had? So perhaps at the moment wasn't quite fun, but right now it's a fun story to tell.
I actually have sort of 2, on the opposite ends of the spectrum. I guess I'll start with the not so funny one. This was for a musical that I went in to audition for, and
Okay.
I have like an okay voice, so it's not fabulous. I'm not Jennifer Hudson, but I can hold a tune. So I never go out for anything that's big and belty, but I will go out for things like Rocky Horror,
Mm.
or Chicago, or something that has a little bit more of, like, natural voices in it, or Come From Away, something like that. Um, and I went out for one of these shows, and I they didn't say anything to me. Like,
Okay.
I walked in,
Yeah.
silence, I just stood there, and then I was like, "Hi, I'm Briar. I'm here to sing for you." And they kinda nodded at me, and then I sang, and one of them went, like, real loud, and they were all looking at their sheets and just writing and not even looking at me. It was the most mortifying
Yeah,
audition
absolutely.
I've ever done, and, I walked out and I went, "Woof," and it's just like, oh, when things like that happen, you just kind of have to, I don't know, compartmentalize it and go, "You know what? Maybe these aren't the people I wanna be working with."
Yeah.
If that's the way they treat, people that come in that they don't know, like, so that was the worst one, and the funniest one was I was auditioning for this show on Animal Planet, and, I got the part, so it had a really good ending, but, I had to kind of improvise looking for a possum, in a room, and then I had to improvise the possum being in a bathtub and, grabbing
Okay.
onto a broom that I was hitting it with, and then I had to improvise calling for my roommate, and I had to make up a name for my roommate on the spot, and so it was me just pretending to look for a possum in a room and
Yeah.
screaming with a mimed, broom, calling for my fake roommate, and it was it was really fun, actually.
Yeah, no, yeah, I
It was
love it.
really,
Yeah.
really fun, but I just kinda went for it, because I thought, "Well, this is weird. Let's just go full weird because 'cause I'm kinda weird anyway, so let's have a
Yeah,
grand
all in.
grand
Yeah,
old
yeah, yeah.
time." Yeah, so that would be the funniest. It was really, uh, wild, I guess.
Yeah, that's pretty cool,
Possums and wild
yeah.
and yeah.
Yeah, one
Yeah.
I hope one day I can be on the casting side, just as a spectator, I wouldn't say anything, but, like, for all the stories that some of the actors have told me, it's fun. I mean, of course, that as like the one you mentioned, that you all stood up with some people that perhaps they were not that kind, but, it wasn't meant to be, so that's fine, so
Yeah.
but also, like, yeah, it's pretty fun, and also I do consider, like, the funniest additions are the ones from commercials.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, commercial auditions. Oh my gosh, that reminds me. Bite and Smiles? Do you know what that is? So when you go in for a commercial that's like for a food,
Mhm, mhm. Oh,
you
yeah, yeah,
go
yeah.
in and you
Mhm.
go,
Yeah, of
"Mmm,"
course,
then
yeah,
you have
yeah.
to go smile at the camera, you bite and smile. Well,
Mm,
I had to do one where what they put in between the bread was arugula.
okay.
So, I mean there's no way to attractively bite into a sandwich of arugula and then go, "Mm."
Yeah,
You got arugula sticking out of your teeth and, like, yeah, commercial auditions are wild with what they ask
yeah,
you to do.
and
Crazy.
yeah, and especially those that you mentioned. In one of the, interviews that I had a
Mhm.
couple of days ago, I was talking about that. I wonder what will happen if you go to McDonald's, you order, any kind of burger, and you start to really act as a commercial, like, basically you're orgasm because you're eating, and doing,
Yeah.
like, those expressions and noises and things like that, because it
Yeah,
is,
yeah.
like, in commercials, you will see, like, and I understand, of course, they do that to sell and everything, which is fine, but I mean, that doesn't change the fact that it's funny to see, like, to really think that someone will be acting like
Mhm.
that when they're eating chicken or McDonald's or pizza
Yeah.
or things like that. So that's pretty funny.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, I understand they I don't know. I think sometimes they're kind of trolling a little bit.
Yeah.
They just wanna see if you're up for it, right?
Mhm.
If you
Yeah,
can
but they're
get
amazing.
there and just give it your all, and,
Yeah,
because commercials are fast, yeah.
absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, let's say that one day I call you and I tell you that I want to become an
Yeah.
actor. Now, here's
Yeah.
the thing. So here I have zero experience, of course. So based on what you know, what do you think it would be important for me to know? Kind of like a heads up before jumping to this career.
Mhm. Well, honestly, I think I would probably say prepare for it to be hard.
Yeah.
Um, but the most important thing that I've learned is, have fun. Always make it a priority to have
Okay.
fun with what you're doing because, you won't most of the time, you won't get the part and you will be meeting some people who might not be very nice, but you'll meet a lot of really nice people too, right? But a
Yeah.
lot of them are not gonna be, um, maybe your best friends in the world, and it's important that even when it's hard, you're finding the joy and the fun in what you do, that you're finding the play and you're keeping it light and professional, and you're doing it because you love it, right? Um, and it's important not to get bogged down in the rejection and the difficulty. And then the other thing I think is really important is to find your heart people.
Mm.
You know, the people that will are on your side, the people that are your cheerleaders and want to you see you do really well,
Yeah.
and you wanna see them do really well.
Yeah.
You know, some people call it a tribe, or, you're just a group of friends, or people that really nourish you when things
Mhm.
are tough and when things are good.
Mhm.
Um, so find your people, and remember to always have fun in what you're doing.
There you go.
Yeah. So that'd be my 2 main things. And then obviously, like, take improv and do theatrical clown, because I think it's invaluable. But yeah.
I'm just gonna drop this mic basically because you said everything.
Oh,
I love
thanks.
it. That's incredible. Yes, I do agree that everything that you said. And yeah, at the end of the day, have fun. It's part of the. I mean, if you're doing something without
Yeah.
in, truly enjoying it, what's the point?
Yeah, but it makes you a better actor too,
No.
you know? Because if you're having I mean, even if you're playing the most down scene ever, if you're light and playful, you find more levels in what you're doing, and people enjoy working with you more, and you start listening more.
Yeah.
Right? So, at least that's been my experience,
Mhm. Mhm.
and,
Mhm.
I think it's important. It
Yeah.
also makes you less afraid of failure, and I think a lot of
True.
people are very afraid of failing when you shouldn't be. It's
Yeah.
part of the process.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
somebody else also told me that that the best that his best advice between other things were don't be a dick.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's it.
Um, what I had a roommate that used to say, "It's okay to not like things, but don't be a dick about it."
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, totally. Because you never know.
Right.
You never know.
You never know. And, my clown teacher, who I love very, very dearly, he says, "Do what you want, don't hurt anybody." And that's
True.
something to live by.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
It's good. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Now, and I just forgot the next question. Oh no, I got it. Awesome.
Okay.
Now, yeah, let's say that, for your birthday, you get a time
Mhm.
machine. But here's
Mhm.
the catch. You can only travel once and to meet the 13-year-old version of yourself. So what would you say to that little you?
Um, "Hey, you know that agent who wanted you to send that tape to her? When you should send it. Send send the tape.
Now,
Start now." Yeah, I don't care if you have to borrow it, or I don't know, like, steal it or rent it, whatever you need to do. Get the camera, make the tape, and send it to this nice lady, because get started now. Just do it.
yeah,
Yeah, that's what I'd say, and then I'd also be like, be kind to yourself. Be
preach.
kinder to yourself.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's true. I mean, when you are a teenager, you tend not to be that kind to yourself. You tend to every now and then be treating you pretty bad. But
Mm,
you're young and naive, and of course, you don't know that one day you're gonna grow older and be like, "This was so stupid on how I was acting like that."
yeah, I think we get to a certain age and we wanna be better and be the best we can be,
Yeah,
and we don't treat ourselves, with the grace
yeah,
that, I think adults treat most adults anyway, treat kids with, right?
yeah, totally, totally.
Yeah, it's okay. You're figuring things out. Don't be
Yeah,
so hard on yourself.
yeah.
Yeah.
Have fun.
Yeah, have fun.
Yeah, I like it.
Play.
A lot. Now,
I'm glad.
yeah, let's say also that one day Netflix, HBO Max, Disney Plus, you name it. They call you and they
Yeah.
tell you that they have this idea which goes, all of the characters you have played at the moment, all of them, they're all gonna gather for one evening to celebrate your
Mhm.
birthday.
Mhm.
But the film needs a name. So how would you call it?
Right. Well, I mean, depending. I think if it was on Netflix, probably since we've been talking about fun, The Function, because
Okay.
it's the function, right? And
It
if it was
sounds
on
yeah, yeah.
HBO, yeah, I mean, yeah, it's a
It's
birthday
good.
party, it's a
Yeah, yeah.
function, yeah. And then, if it was on HBO Max, probably The Menagerie.
Okay.
Ooh.
All
Well,
right.
I was looking back at my career, as you say.
Mm.
Um, and I realized I've kind of played a lot of animals. So there would be
Hmm.
2 horses and a panda.
Okay.
Um, so
Hmm.
it it was
The
like, it's
pet
gonna be kind of a zoo.
yeah, the
Yeah, you know?
panda already got me. Okay.
Yeah, panda. Um, yeah,
That's badass.
I
I
think
mean
so.
I
That
mean,
was a
who
great
does
role.
yeah, I mean, who doesn't love pandas? Are you kidding me?
I know, I spent the entire play, trying to steal bamboo.
And did you were able to do it?
In the end, yeah,
Thank God.
I got the
Whew.
bamboo.
There you got the
I
bamboo.
know.
Yeah,
Gosh,
otherwise,
so
yeah,
hungry the entire time.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I love it. One of the things that I wanna do one day is to actually be close. I mean, not yeah, like, to actually see close a real panda, you know? I mean, I've seen it on zoos
Oh,
and every now and
yeah.
then, but it's frustrating because everyone wants to see the panda, and then you have like I don't know, like hundreds of people watching just one animal, and I can understand how scary for the animal might be to be like, what the hell is wrong with these people, you know? So
Right,
I
yeah.
do hope like one day I can get the chance to actually just like just see him and not with hundreds of people behind, like knocking on the
Mhm.
glass and taking pictures, you know, like things like that. So
Yeah, yeah. Do you ever see those videos of, the zookeepers in panda sanctuaries, and their entire job is a panda cuddler? You could
yeah,
go do that. You could live your dream.
I will
You could
definitely be
just
thrown.
cuddle pandas all
Imagine
day.
that, and that's what you get paid.
Imagine. Right? Yeah, just cuddle those pandas.
Just cuddle.
Mm,
Man,
yep.
I want that job.
What a dream.
Yeah, it will be a dream
Dream
indeed.
job.
Dream
Yeah.
job. Yeah, because you don't it doesn't matter how old you are, you can still performing.
Yeah.
What else do you want?
Great, we figured it out. Let's go. Let's go right now. Let's go
Yeah,
do
let's go
that.
right now. You know what? I'm just gonna no, I'm just
Let's
kidding.
go, yeah.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go right now. I love it. Yes.
Bye.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
love it. But yeah, it's true. It's true. Now,
Yeah.
if you could describe your whole career now, but on a
Mhm.
drink, how would you call it and what would it have?
It'd be a mimosa because,
Right.
you think it's somewhat good for you. It's got some vitamin C, but
Okay.
it really just kinda gets you wasted real early in the day, and it's accompanied by really expensive things,
Mm,
like brunch foods
yeah.
and, shopping with your girlfriends, and, yeah, it's the
Yeah.
mimosa, it sneaks up on you,
Yeah, like
but it's
once
still
you
delicious,
it
and you
is.
still want them.
Oh, of
And you know
course.
what? Brunch is the best food for me.
Mm,
So,
mm.
yeah.
Yeah, everything sounds amazing until the part that that you get up and you're like, "Oh,
Uh-oh. Yeah. Uh-oh.
uh-oh."
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Ooh, it's 1:30 and uh-oh.
Mhm, mhm. Or you realize and you wake up in another state and be like,
Yeah.
"Shit."
You mean pull a shameless? End up in another country? How did I get here?
Yeah.
Yeah. Perfect.
Anyway, that's for another story.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Now, what motivates you? You know, we all have those days that we just want to quit, you know? Regardless of what we
Mhm.
do, we want to quit. So my question here is how you manage to silence all of those toxic thoughts in your head and to be back again on this road that you have been in for so many years now.
Yeah, well, I actually had a day like this, not too long ago. No
Oh,
reason, just felt, off.
yeah,
And,
it happens.
The things that really help me are, practically, is doing something that is, like, body related, so, like, yoga for me really
Mhm.
works because 'cause I'm paying attention to my breath and just how I'm feeling physically rather than emotionally
Yeah.
as much, and that sort of helps me get out of the real muck of it,
Mm.
but then the other thing is make sure you've eaten. Make sure you've eaten enough and you've drunk enough because that can really affect your mood. Those are the practical things, but the more philosophical things is, the thing that motivates me is the need to entertain people. I'm a real ham, and that really brings me a lot of joy.
Mhm.
So, get up and entertain somebody, or for me, and also self-improvement, of course,
Yeah.
is a great motivator. But yeah, practically eat some good food and do some yoga.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
know. It's different for everyone. Yeah.
Totally. And watch a documentary about pandas.
Yeah, perfect.
There you go.
I like to watch, YouTube videos about horses. That's
Interesting.
my thing. Yeah.
Okay, that's your jam. I like
Mhm.
it.
Yeah, it is my jam.
Yeah. And with music in the background or not at all?
No, not usually. I like to watch, things about, equestrians and, I like to get to know the horses
Yeah.
and I'm just like a horse. I love horses, and that's sort of what I do to get out
That's
of a bad
awesome.
mood. Yeah.
Yeah, I like it. And
Mhm.
my last question here is, what can we expect from you in the future? Hit it.
Well, next year I have, I guess, not next year. It is next year. This year. I've got a couple short films coming out, which I'm really excited about. Two or three of them are festival bound,
Mm,
and they're from people who have already been in festival circuit with their short films and their
yeah.
films. So I'm pretty excited about that. That's been going really well. I just finished producing a play in London. It was a new David Ireland play. He's a big playwright coming up in Northern Ireland, and it was nominated for a few awards, and we might be taking it elsewhere. Maybe that's always a possibility for any play. And yeah, we have a few things in the works, and we'll see how they turn out. But yeah, that's sort of what I'm up to right now. I'm auditioning and
Yeah,
doing the most. Yeah.
you're dropping it again. So.
Drop the mic again.
Yeah, it's incredible. And you know what? I love what you do because the fact that you are following something that makes you happy, something that makes sense. By the way, as you mentioned, if you hear dog noise in the background, But anyway, um,
Peppers. Mm.
so
Yeah.
yeah. So what I was saying here is that it's incredible what you do, and it's more than obvious that in our next conversation we're gonna talk about the thousands upon thousands projects you have been in because you do it because it makes you happy, and I do think that when you do something that really makes you happy, basically no matter how difficult and challenging might be, you always find a way to continue moving forward, and to along the way enjoying it, you know.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
incredible.
I I mean, for me, I would say I'm always hesitant to use the word happy because for me, happiness is fleeting. But I would say that the arts is it just makes me feel very, very content.
There you
And I
go.
think any artist was just there it fulfills you. It's what keeps you going.
Yeah.
There's just some unexplainable need in you to do what you do. And yeah, it keeps you
Awesome.
motoring on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Plus, you're super badass, so that's one plus.
Yeah, super badass. Yeah, definitely.
Absolutely. Now, I do want to thank those who watched this. Thank you so much, or listen to it as well. Thank you. This episode is about to be over, so in the description below, you're gonna find all of social media from Briar. Let's make her viral. Come on, hashtag Team Briar. She's incredible. She's amazing, and she's a super badass person. And again, thank you so much for making this happen. Keep creating, keep inspiring, and most important, keep being this amazing, super amazing, sunshine badass person you always are. And I'll see you in the next one.
All right. Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely, always.